Choo choo! Oh no, my train is leaving without me. All right, this topic we're going to start looking at the Transcontinental Railroad and how it impacted the construction and the impact impacted. Choo choo! I can't get to my train on time. Topic 1, we're going to look at the Transcontinental Railroad. We're going to look at the construction, who was responsible, what problems they faced, and once it's completed, the impact it has on the United States. Right? But before we do that, we first need to look at, when we say the West, well, what do we mean? So if I draw a line here, that's supposed to be the Mississippi River. It's not red, you know it's blue, and my line is also extremely crooked. Here are the original 13 colonies and most of the original 13 states. All of this land out here is considered the West. Yes, Native Americans are out there, but the U.S. has state claim to it. So we're going to have tens of thousands of settlers that are going to start moving that way onto the frontier, onto the West, however you want to look at it. The railroad is definitely going to speed that process up. All right. So the construction side of it. Well, the construction actually began prior to the Civil War. Abraham Lincoln was instrumental in getting the process going. We have two companies. You don't need to be able to tell the two apart. Per se, you just need to know that they were both, one started in one place, one started in the other. This map does a good job showing it. The Central Pacific starts here in California and goes east, right? And then the Union Pacific starts here in Nebraska and goes west. So it's kind of a race to see who can lay the most amount of tracks. Right? They meet Promontory, Utah, Promontory Point, Utah, May 1869. And then it's kind of going to open the floodgates for more railroads to be constructed. All right, so who built it? Yes, lots of railroad companies invested money in it. The government did help them, but we're looking like right down to the nitty-gritty. You have white farmers, white settlers that go out west looking for work. You also have African Americans, thanks to the 13th Amendment, no longer bound by slavery. They're traveling out west looking for jobs as well. But we're going to focus in on two immigrant groups. The Chinese immigrants coming in from China who start to work in Sacramento, working on the railroads going east, and the Irish immigrants coming in through Ellis Island, working on the railroads going west. So the reason immigrant workers are going to be so abundant is because they're willing to work for low wages when maybe other workers aren't. Another problem that railroad companies had was land. They didn't know where to build. They didn't own the land that they wanted to build the railroad on, but the government had an interest in the railroad being constructed, so they were willing to provide land to railroad companies. They gave them cheap land grants, and then they kind of had to repay and sell off the land to homesteaders, which were farmers that come out west. This is an interesting note here that you have tens of thousands of workers on both sides of the track. We got to find a way to feed them. So railroad companies bring in buffalo hunters, and we're going to look at how the buffalo population is decimated in topic 3. But yeah, the buffalo population is going to be pushed to the brink of extinction. One of the reasons is to feed the railroad workers. All right, here's a couple images that I tracked down. These two go together. It's kind of like a then and now, just so you get an idea of some of the terrain. When we're talking about difficulties the railroads faced, here would be some of the examples. All right, trying to build bridges, railroad tracks over water, through mountains, around mountains. It's definitely going to be a very difficult task. Right, and then here's a picture of the ceremonial gold spike being hammered in when the two railroads do meet in Promontory Point, Utah. Very famous painting, obviously, lots of celebration. Okay, and here's your first key question. What two companies built the first transcontinental railroad? You should know the names of it, right? And then what difficulties did they face, meaning what problems did they encounter? All right, now we're going to look at, now that the railroad's complete, okay, how does it impact the United States? Well, the first industry that is impacted is the cattle industry. That would be the cows going to the slaughterhouse to make the meat. Railroads allowed for faster transportation, obviously. If you didn't have railroads, you really wouldn't have the cattle industry because there wouldn't be a fast way to herd your cattle all the way to the east where all the markets are. Right, so we started to get these cow towns that pop up. The population kind of swells during cattle season, and then once the people leave, then it kind of goes right back down again. But the whole idea here is, that should be a lowercase t for those of you that are going to start nitpicking our notes. The whole idea is that railroads allowed for a faster transportation. Okay. The second part is land in the West. Once the railroad finishes or completes, they're asked by the government, they're looking to make a little extra money, they start selling the land off that they didn't need anymore. Right, so you're looking at farmers who come out west. Right, that's an excellent opportunity to get some cheap land. All right, a couple different groups. Obviously, farmers benefit from the railroad, ranchers benefit from the railroad, travelers benefit from the railroads, businesses in the east and west both are going to benefit. All right, from a effect point of view, or from a business economic point of view, the railroad is going to be a tremendous positive. All right, this is just an interesting map showing you, so if you have to pause it and look at the key, do that. All right, this is just kind of showing you the expansion based on time and how the West is settled. This is a train poster, travel poster, talking to you about some of the positives of taking the train, the luxurious cars, eating houses, sleeping cars. All right, they kind of become like little mobile hotels or mobile restaurants. All right, here's your last key question. How did the completion of the Transcontinental Railroad impact the country from an economic point of view? Okay, what did it allow people to do? What did it allow businesses to do? Things like that. Short, quick, to the point.